Good afternoon. Welcome sir. Welcome to Commodity India. Today we have Mr. Jayaram Srinivasan, the founder and managing director of FrontalRain Technologies. So this is actually something related to a software, cloud computing, something like that, which is very a new concept to our readers. Can you just brief us about this, sir?
So cloud computing is all about centralizing all the resources. They don't need to have a server, or they don't need to just have a hard disk to just store any data in, like how you log on to a Google or a Facebook. People can get into the web, and they can access the software, and they can then store whatever the business transactions are there on the web. It's something similar to what we do with the banking transaction, or we do with the ticket booking and things like that. The benefit of primarily, like people, they don't need to just get into the office to access the system. They can access the system from anywhere, and they can access it also from any device. They can access it from the mobile device, or they can access it from the laptop, or they can access it from home or from office. So it's ideally suited for food and agri businesses, primarily because food and agri businesses are a little bit distributed. So the growing operations happen typically in the rural side, and in the suburban side, people are looking at say processing, and the distribution happens in the cities. The exports and other things, they also just go through the main ports which are around the cities. So that way, cloud computing is ideally suited for food and agri businesses because of the nature of the business as such is distributed.
Because of the supply chain, whatever it is, right from the farm
to the consumer. To the consumer. So because every player is in different parts of the, I would just say, they are not like an automobile industry or something. They are not sitting in a central location.
When I just look up into your website, it is seen like all the founders, whoever it is, mainly into the computer software field. Why is that you choose this agriculture, sir? All came up together.
Not like typically what happens is we have three of us. So I come with some experience with supply chain, and the other founder Ravi, he comes with experience in technology. The third one, Sriram, he came with some experience in working with food and agri companies while he was in SAP. So the idea is, while we were just thinking of starting this company, we have constantly been hearing about challenges in supply chain in food and agri business, and that's the reason why we thought that we can bring together our expertise in different areas, so that we can come up with an affordable solution for small and medium businesses.
What are the products like you offer, sir?
So typically we have products for every stage in the value chain, starting from growing operation, processing, then we have for exporter and importers, and then for people who are looking at distributing to the retail. And the last one is for the service providers, primarily cooperatives and people who are just providing services to the food and agri businesses. So it's called Rain Plus. It has grow for growers, make for processors, and move for typically distributing it to retail, and trade for people who are in export of commodities, and service for non-profits and cooperatives.
You have any tie-up or something like that because you are giving for cooperatives?
No, we don't have any tie-up. Say people who discover us through the web, they can sign up for the software and they can start using the software.
Apart from agriculture, like you are also into this fisheries and dairy sector also.
Typically what happens is, even in government department, food and agri business, they typically agriculture, fisheries, they are normally grouped together. And we are providing software for, when we say agri business, not only for food, it's also for cotton, fiber and rubber and other industries as well. So people can typically use it for any of the growing operations, varied from say growing of spices, fruits and vegetables, to I would just say dairy or fisheries. So it supports multitudes of growing styles. So not only like for field crops or for plantations, things like that. So the software is developed in such a way where it can be used for different types of growing styles, different types of processing, as well as trading and retail distribution as such.
But like right now, you're focusing only for the agri.
Our software is primarily designed for food and agri businesses.
Just wanted to know, like this solutions, like whatever the products you're providing, is it like customized according to the client's requirement you do it, or like it's a general?
It's a standard product. Whoever just purchase our product, typically we configure it little bit to the customer's needs, and then it can be put into use and they can use it for their industry.
I think for you are into like animal feed also, poultry sector
Yeah,
also.
poultry and animal feed. We have very large animal feed companies in Andhra Pradesh who are just using our software. They use it for managing their plant operations, and finally also just sending the feed to the fish farms where they monitor the, I would just say, effectiveness of the feed.
You have apps or something like that?
Oh, this is a web-based application. Typically, people log on to the web and then they will have a user and password using which they can access the software.
Okay, so like all the data is like computed in the website?
It's on the web only. Everything is there on the web, and people can access the data on the web. It's very secure because it's accessed through a user name and password, and then it's also on a HTTPS, very secure protocol, and so the various levels of security. And we ensure saying that the data is encrypted and stored in the system, and as a result this one we will know who is accessing the system, from where they are accessing, when they have access, what they have accessed. These are, I would just say, very high levels of controls which are there in the system, which are not available in traditional software.
Complete trial, everything is like tracked.
Yeah.
What is the competency you are seeing in this sector, sir?
We are seeing quite a lot of generic software that are there in the market. Traditional, they are on-premise system. Some local vendors are just providing some software. Till date, they don't have a kind of a standard software, typically for modern food and agribusiness companies. And they are also like very special software for poultry or software for, I would just say, aquaculture or something like that. So, but nobody till now has come up with a kind of a standard software for the entire food and agribusiness, that too starting from growing operation, processing, say for retail and for trading. So for the complete value chain, people can start in one area and they can either go backward in the chain or forward in the chain. So that way it helps them to grow along with the business as such. So they can start with one module and then they can procure other modules and then adopt, I would say, different solutions from our side.
You also give the option to take the individual thing, or like the whole supply chain?
Yeah, we normally just sell one particular product and then people can then buy other products from us as they go along, as they expand their operations.
Okay. Any combined package, something like that?
No, say it's either available as a complete suite or people can buy it as an individual product.
What would be the cost for this solution?
So typically we just charge around like $10,000 a year for a particular customer. People, it depends on how many modules they take, for how many users they take. They can start with really small and then they can scale up to as many users as they want. So in a typical this one software which people have to buy, they need to buy hardware, they need to buy software, they need to have UPS, they need to have generators, and then they need to have backup systems, and they need to also just have consultants to customize the system. But in this case, they just need a login and a password, and everything is available in the system. So that way, you need to just focus only on the business process and what benefits you get from the system, rather than looking at all other things like hardware, software, or having an IT department and things like that. So that way, to an extent, it helps you to just focus on your business rather than looking at different aspects of managing the IT landscape. Cost will be like significantly lower, and also you don't have the risk of just starting an implementation at a very high cost. If you just purchase a hardware for 50 lakhs or something like that, you really don't know, it might get outdated, or after that you need to go for antivirus and several other accessories, and your cost will continue to escalate. And it also has a kind of a limit beyond which it cannot scale. So the typical lifetime is about maybe like 3 or 4 years, After that, you need to upgrade once again.
Yes.
And otherwise, what happens is typically they say that this software doesn't work with this hardware or things like that. So here you don't run into issues like that.
So normally when you say the solution, it's mainly security is a concern in this cloud-based solution. So like how do you go about convincing the companies to put their data?
So typically cloud is little bit more secure than the other systems as such. Today if you see most of the businesses, the most critical thing, the banking transactions are done on the web.
Yes.
And where your entire company's accounts and all your receipts as well as payments, everything you do is on the web.
Yes.
And say your taxes are just filed on the net. So most of the critical transactions today, business critical transactions are done on the web. So it is a myth that people think that cloud is not secure. But cloud is in fact more secure because you can exactly know who is accessing your system, from where they are accessing, when they are accessing, what they are changing, and everything is just backed up automatically, so that the chances of you losing out the data are very, very remote. Otherwise, in a typical office environment, people can take a USB drive and then copy the data and then take it anywhere. It's very, very hard to just control it. Here, typically people have permissions on what they can access, and then depending upon their role, you can restrict their access. So, we have several mechanisms which are built in to ensure that people are, I would just say, very comfortable with the kind of an environment which we provide.
Okay, so who would be your clients?
So typically the clients are commodity traders, people who are doing export import of commodities, or people who are just taking their product to retail distribution, typically to all the stores. So if you have a branded commodity, branded product, and if you are just taking it to the retail stores, and if you want to take it to the tens and thousands of retail stores in every cities, so they can go for our software. And typically people who are just doing growing operations, or millers or ginners, spice processing unit, so any of these companies are typical clients of FrontalRain.
What are the benefits, which is like tangible as well as intangible, opting for this solution?
So the main benefits of going for a solution is like on one side you save heavily on the cost, and you just start in a very, very small way, and as you keep getting benefits you can then scale up. So the risks are minimized to a very great extent. It helps smaller companies to just adopt a very, very, I would just say, advanced solution today, because it's highly affordable. And so it helps small and medium sized businesses which are very ambitious to adopt a solution and grow and compete with the larger companies as such.
Once if you get into this, take this solution, what is the payback period, sir?
So in this case what happens is you just pay on a as you go basis. If the solution is usable, then you continue to use it. Otherwise you can stop using it. So this is unlike a capital investment where you just do it first and then start, I would just say, using the system, and over a period you recover your investment. Here you start small and then slowly you just get the benefit. And it's the same way like how a mobile phone works or something like that, where you just start with a SIM card and then you can pay as low as maybe 1,000 rupees or like that, and as you just start using more 3G or you're using for international calling, so then you can pay the charges as you are consuming the services. You will get the benefit instantly, and if you get benefits only, you will just renew and use it.
We would like to know what kind of domain expertise like do you have within the company to service the food industry?
So over the years, the founders have just worked extensively on supply chain projects and on technology areas. And we have worked with multitudes of just, I would say, different manufacturing industries as such. We bring quite a lot of, I would just say, functional knowledge into this industry. And in the last 4 years, we have worked with several different types of food products itself, starting from, I would say, grains, pulses, seeds, fruits and vegetables, cotton, sugar, plantations, and say aqua feed, animal feed, then horticulture, so then apiculture, then dairy, so poultry. So we have worked with very many different types of businesses, and they are in different stages of the value chain as such. So that to an extent has helped us gain phenomenal knowledge in terms of, I would say, what this industry really requires, and this whole intelligence is built into the platform. So while each one of this commodity is different, there are quite a lot of similarities across these different commodities.
Yes.
So on one side we are able to bring in the knowledge from, say, different commodity areas. On the other side we are also trying to just bring in certain common aspects. So it has both commodity specific knowledge as well as commodity independent knowledge as well. So companies which are in food and agribusiness will benefit immensely by using Rain Plus solution.
You are like only into the domestic companies, or like you have like international?
So today we are having customers in Middle East, we are having customers in Far East, we are also having customers in Africa, and we have customers in North India, South India. So we are very well distributed. Because it is on the web, the nature of the business, it is just open for anybody who is interested in using the solution. Anyone who is into commodity business anywhere in the world can use FrontalRain solution.
You have like mobile apps or something like this?
So we also have provide say applications on Android phones, so people can access this application using a very I would just say affordable phone as such. So today everybody has Android phone, and it can be used by people in the field or people by salesmen who are just traveling on the road. They want to capture order at the retail stores or take the stock at the retail store. So everything is just possible using a mobile device. So it is basically used for capturing, I would say, information while they are on the move. Apart from that, executives can as well use it to just monitor the status of the operations. So when they are traveling, so that way they are always connected with their office, and they don't need to an extent stay in the office to just monitor as to what is going on.
In the coming future, what are your plans?
So we are going to rapidly expand into other geographies, and we are going to just take our product that is meant for traders, commodity traders, and to the international market. And our goal will be to just make sure that it becomes a kind of an industry standard for commodity trading as such. Particularly if anybody who is working on physical commodity trade, they should be able to just use our software, and within a day or two they can then start getting benefits out of the system. So that way it will become like a kind of a de facto industry standard for commodity trading as such, and that's the direction in which we are moving.
But do you give anything related to the prices or something like that?
So as of now we don't have any mechanism to do price discovery or something like that, but what you can do is typically you can send quotations to people on today's prices, and you can do a kind of a price blast to people, and you can get to know saying that what their responses are, based on which you will just get to know saying that what is the going rate. So that way if you just see several traders, they are just sending the price codes, their respective clients, the kind of a feedback they get. With that they will be able to rapidly just discover as to what is the going price, and then they will be able to just translate it into a contract and then get into execution.
Just tell us like something like which I have missed out.
Overall, I think Rain Plus is meant for food and agri businesses. Typically companies, they need not think saying that they need a kind of, I would just say, big time investment to just get software or benefit from that. So if they have a very lean operations as well, people, if they are ambitious and if they want to streamline their system and then grow big time, so then say Rain Plus solutions are ideal for food and agri businesses.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.